And sometimes they tell some pretty hefty fish stories. We don't know if they're true or not.
And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma. And we have the man, Mr. Mike Lum from Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea, and also Captain Frank LoPreste is joining us via phone for a great show talking about taking kids fishing. So you stay tuned. This is Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
Hey everyone, James Holst here with Norsk Lithium, the official battery partner of Let's Talk Hookup. Here at Norsk Lithium, we have two goals that drive who we are and what we do. The first is to make the highest quality, longest lasting lithium batteries available with a complete lineup of batteries that include 12, 24, 36 volt and starting batteries. Second, in addition to offering a 10-year warranty on all Norsk Lithium marine batteries, we provide amazing customer service before and after the sale. Check us out online at norsklithium.com. That's NORSK lithium.com, or call us at 831-232-9063. Or to see Norsk Lithium batteries in person, stop by the Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood or Anglers Marine in Anaheim and see why Norsk Lithium batteries should be in your boat.
No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered. Norsk Lithium.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWormerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a fun day today is going to be, man.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be super fun. And good morning, Mike Lum.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, and good morning, Captain Frank LoPreste.
Well, good morning, Rick, Pete, Mike. Hope you guys are doing well.
Doing great. Having some enjoyable weather down here in beautiful San. It's spring has sprung. It is the first official Let's Talk Hookup show of spring. And I guess there's some fishing going on, right, Frank?
I'm sorry, say that again, Pete.
I said, I guess it's spring now, and there's some good spring fishing going on.
Well, you know, Aliar had to cancel his trip because we didn't get any warranty on those engines, and we're supposed to get it this week, so we didn't dare run without our warranty on our new engines.
Oh.
But from what I hear, there's bluefin within range. I know there's a plane flying today. We'll surely have an update today. Other than that, Jonathan is fishing Hurricane Bank and scratching away on some wahoo and some tuna. And that's pretty much it, okay?
Okay, well, that's, and I know, Ricky, you said there was some local yellowtail happening. I know the San Diego went over the islands and caught a few, and some local fishing too, right, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, there was some, La Jolla did what La Jolla does, and we had some consistent weather and some fish to go along with it. And it was great. There was yo-yo jig fish and some surface iron fish, and guys caught them trolling rapalas. So it was just great to see it was great to see it doing what it's supposed to do. It's springtime now officially, and the weather was right for a couple of days in a row. And just like everybody says, it takes some consistency in weather, and we got that, and there was some fish biting because of it.
Beautiful weather.
Love it. Yeah. Some really nice ones too.
Yeah. With that spring.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens on the San Diego today over at the Coronados.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. Well, Captain Mike or Captain Mike, Captain Frank and Captain Mike are here. Mostly we're talking about Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea. And Mike, this is kind of a big moment for Captain Rollo's. Of course, PCS show was fantastic for Rollo, raised a lot of money to take a lot of kids fishing, right?
Yeah, we were so excited to see the PCS show develop like it has. And this was by far the most successful show we've had for the Captain Rollo Kids at Sea program, and just want to thank everybody that came out and supported it and stopped by the booth and donated money, and of course all the vendors that helped us make it all possible. It's a very, very big part of our annual budget, and we're very thankful for Bill and Mike there at the PCS show to allow us to be there and help us maximize our opportunities. So thanks everybody for that.
We got to go on Saturday. Dallas brought the boys up, and we got to do a little family cruise. And the booth was popping. The wheel was spinning, and the energy was really high, and it was just really cool to see. And I learned very quickly. I've joked about it that now having Wyatt at the shows, like I have to go on every single boat and open every single hatch and honk every horn. But the other thing we've learned is we have to spin every wheel. And there was certainly no going by the Rollo booth, especially with as fun as everybody made it and the high energy. And yeah, we had our wheel stops.
Well, we appreciate that, and we do enjoy seeing the kids come by and watching them grow up, because we've been doing it for so many years now. Heck, kids that were 5 years old when they first came up and won a tackle box or whatever it was they won. We see them now as almost adults, right? And they come around and you wonder, it won't be long they'll have their kids there spinning the wheel. So that wheel's been around a long time now.
Hey, Frank, what's it like for you to see basically when you started Friends of Rollo, Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea? What's it like to see it become what it is today?
Well, it's absolutely fantastic, Pete, to see it grow like it has. And I, before I go much further, probably one of the biggest reasons we've been so successful is Mike Lum and Tim Baker. They have done an amazing job. And of course, Howard Coolidge. I can go on with names. I'll even mention Harold Davis, and there's so many volunteers that have done a great job. And, so many, as Mike put it, so many vendors that have contributed and made it work. So it's just amazing to see these kids come fishing. There's nothing better, in my opinion. And to get these kids out fishing is opening a new world to them. And many of them have never experienced anything like that. And the best part is seeing them come back a week later or 2 weeks later. And it's just really a thrilling feeling to see these kids having a great time.
Yeah. And I'm going to say some reality here of having a 501c3 charitable organization that raises money here. Our organization, Rollo, has very few paid employees. So I'm going to say like a giant majority of the money, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's got to be way over like 90+% of that money.
At least 95%
goes right to the kids. I mean,
That's awesome.
Frank, myself, Steve Pennard, who does an unbelievable amount of work, Harold Davis, as you mentioned, and others, Scott Sherman, who helps us out a lot. We're all volunteers, and Mike and Tim and Howard are basically the only paid employees, and they don't get paid much is the problem. Mike gets hardly anything for what he does. So when you make a contribution to Rollo, you're going to know that it's not going to line somebody's pocket. It's going to go take kids fishing.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And if you were to try to live on Mike's salary, I don't know if you'd even be able to afford beans.
Well, I have found that the vast majority of what I end up getting goes back to buying products and things for the organization that I really don't want to put back on the organization, because they're sometimes crazy ideas that I have. And so I end up doing it on my own, and I have no problems doing that. And it's nice when I see one of those experiments blossom into something that we can then turn into an actual promotion. And that's how a lot of these have gotten started. And so now that I am a manufacturer's rep, and I do have access to products at discounted prices, I can't help myself. Some days I just have to place orders and get the stuff in. And we've got several things in the works right now that we're looking forward to doing this next year. And that's what's kept this program growing over the years, is just constantly trying to think of things that people will enjoy and be responsive to. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting money in the bank so we can take more kids fishing. And one of the things that we do that's not exciting and is very rarely talked about is we have on our website, which is rollokids.org. There's a place there under donations where you can sign up to give a regular contribution. You can put that on a credit card or a debit card or whatever. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's $10 a month, $20 a month, $50 a month. To me, that is the easiest, simplest way to support this organization. And at the end of the year, it adds up to the point where you can help take 4, 5, 6, 10 kids on their first ocean fishing trip, and you barely even notice that you did it. So a lot of guys buy raffle tickets. We love that. And they, of course, the wheel at the events, that's wonderful. But those guys that have signed up to give us $20 a month or $50 a month, like I say, they hardly notice that they're doing it. But at the end of the day, it makes a huge difference in how much we raise. So I would encourage people to give some thought to that.
Now, we have a number of big fundraisers going on. This is kind of the key fundraising season. You know, we just finished PCSA. But what are all these rods you have? If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube Live, and of course, listening as a fan, now you can have the theater of the mind, or listening to us on the app. Tell us about this whole Batson custom rod raffle. Speaking of guys that give a lot.
Well, feels like we're in a custom rod shop.
I know. Look at those rods. Wow.
What you're looking at are 8, I will call them ultra custom built rods that Batson Enterprises made and donated to us. And Bill Batson has been a huge supporter for many years, and comes down every summer and helps us with tuna wars and donates tons of rods for the auction. And it's just become an amazing, generous offer that he does every year. So a few years ago, I was at Tackle Day there at Fisherman's Landing, and Bill Batson was down, and we were just discussing the Rollo program and various ways that we've raised money. And I explained to him that we had been given some beautiful custom rods a year or two before. That was a result of a custom rod competition, and they donated rods to us. And I told him that we struggled a little bit trying to figure out how to get the most value out of these rods. And so we decided that we would put a package of rods together, and we would sell our regular grand raffle tickets, which we sell, it seems like year round, but we sell 6 months, 7 months a year. And to get people to buy those tickets, we would use the custom rods and award them. And so what we ended up doing, I believe that year, was if you bought 10 grand raffle tickets, which would be $100 donation, then you would be entered to win one of these rods. And we decided we'd give away 6 of the custom rods. And we would do it in such a way that the winners, when they're chosen, got to pick. So the first guy got to choose from actually a collection of 8 rods. And then the second guy got to pick from what's left, and so on, until we got down to the 6th winner. And he got to pick from the remaining 3. And then the last 2 rods, we held off to the side, and we moved those over to the Tuna Wars event. So everybody got to choose a rod. So as I was explaining this to Bill Batson, he said, that sounds really interesting. And I said, well, we just need to find a way to come up with 8 really nice rods. And he said, I'll get back to you. And literally, that was on, I think Tackle Day was a Saturday.
Right.
That on Monday, he sent me an email. He said, okay, I got it figured out. He says, I'm going to provide all the blanks, all the guides, all the handle assemblies. We're going to do all that. We're donating everything. And my son is going to build the rods for you. And so that's exactly what happened. Keller
And
built
that's
the rods.
these 8 rods sitting
Well,
behind
this is several years ago.
Oh,
okay. So he sends us 8 of the most beautiful rods. We did the promotion. It was a huge success. Everybody loved it. We loved it. And the 2 remaining rods again got shifted over to Tuna Wars, and everything was just wonderful. I couldn't thank him enough. He said, well, we'll do it again next year.
That's so rad.
Well, we're now into I believe this is the 3rd year, maybe the 4th, but I think the 3rd year that Bill has donated the rods. Keller has built the rods, and they delivered them to us at the PCS show. And now we're in the process of selling grand raffle tickets, which is coming up. We're going to draw it at Day at the Docks.
So how does one win these rods?
Okay.
Mike?
You're going to call in today, and you're going to talk to Tim Baker. That number is 951-264-7382. And you're going to tell Tim you want to buy 5 grand raffle tickets, $50, $50 donation. You're going to be entered into the grand raffle with 5 tickets. You're then going to have an entry into the custom rod raffle. That is the only way you can get into these custom rod raffle, is to buy 5 or more raffle tickets from Tim, grand raffle tickets. We started this at the PCS show, sold quite a few, and we're going to continue to sell them right up until Day at the Docks, where we will give away all 6 of these rods, and we will then do the grand raffle drawing for the $30,000 in prizes. So
That'll
lots
all
of stuff
happen
to
at
win.
Day at the Docks.
It's all going to
on
happen at Day
April
at the Docks.
13th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as well as at Day at the Docks is a big day for Rollo. Is the big, huge used tackle sale.
Yes, we have, and we got a lot. We got a lot.
Yeah.
The used tackle sale coming up will be again at Day at the Docks, and then of course we'll also have the wheel there for everybody that loves the wheel. That'll be there. We'll be giving away a bunch of prizes there. So a lot going on. Selling a ton of used tackles, spinning the wheel, and we're going to do these big drawings when we're done
with the rods. And so the Rollo's grand raffle, there's 30 different prizes in that grand raffle, right?
Yes.
Jeez.
In addition to the
and those can be seen. If you want to see that list, you can go to rollokids.org. They're all listed there. And
I mean,
you
just
can
looking
also,
down the list, $1,000 Nordstrom gift card. How about that for the wife or something like that?
That'll be a popular
3-day trip on the Royal Polaris, 3-day trip on the American Angler, 3-day trip on the Shogun, 3-day trip on Polaris Supreme, 2-day trip on for 2 at H&M, a New Mexico antelope hunt.
Yeah, that's new.
Huh?
That's new this year. Kennedy Hunting Services donated that trip or that hunt to us, and that's going to be exciting for whoever wins that.
Yeah, and Santa Maria tri-tip dinner for 12. This is where Tim Baker and Mike Klum come and cook a Santa Maria barbecue.
Don't include me in the cooking part of that. That's Baker. That's Baker doing that. I may show up and help him clean up. But he's the guy.
And the granddaddy of them all, $2,000 at Summit Gasoline to use to buy fuel.
That's so
and
legit.
burritos or whatever.
So let me remind everybody the way this grand raffle works. We have 30 winners, 30 prizes. The top 10 get pulled in order first, and then those top 10 prizes, we don't assign the prize. We call them in order of how they're drawn and say, which one would you like? And we keep doing that for the top 10 prizes. That way you don't end up with an antelope hunt if you aren't interested in hunting, right?
Yeah.
So, or you don't end up with $2,000 in Summit gas when you live in another state or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but you could end up with a $500 AFCO gift card, or a $500 Turner's Outdoorsman gift card, or a $500 Dana Landing gift card, or a $500 Fisherman's Landing Tackle Shop gift card. I mean, it's just like there's all kinds of stuff going on. And as you can hear, our great show. We have a lot to talk about here. We'll talk fishing too with Captain Franks. I'm sure going to have some insight on what his thoughts about this upcoming season, since we're kind of into it now, what his thoughts are. And of course, talking fun fishing and all kinds of good stuff.
It's just going to be a great show. Yeah. And there's so much cool stuff going on with Rollo, and the big day at the dock's coming. And like you say, it's just happening. Yesterday at the landing was a very special day. You could just feel the buzz in the air, knowing there were some boats going offshore, scouting around for tuna, and the plane flying and that local yellowtail. You can feel the buzz has happened. And we're going to talk about it today. If you want to join us, man, we would love to hear from you. Give us a call at 833-288-0973. One more time, 833-288-0973 is how you reach us here on Let's Talk Hookup, or send us a text. The text the show option is so popular here on Let's Talk Hookup, and we have so much fun receiving all the different texts, and already a bunch of them flowing through. The only way you can send in your text to Let's Talk Hookup is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. Even Spike can figure it out. You can catch all the archive shows. You can call in via the app, and it's the only way that you can text in your questions live to Let's Talk Hookup. When you do, make sure you include your contact info. Just a name and a phone number along with your text is all we need, because if you win the big prize at the end of the show today, we want to make sure to get it to you. And speaking of a big prize, one lucky caller or texter, and as always, that's decided by the coin flip at the end of the show, is going to win a full day trip going fishing on board the Liberty at a Fisherman's Landing. Super excited to give that trip away. I know the boys are steady grinding on their maintenance, getting ready to roll down to the Coronado Islands, that Liberty. And
Frank, when do you think Liberty's going to be ready to roll?
Real soon, Pete. He's finished most of his maintenance. I think I know he's got a charter, in fact, this coming next Saturday.
Okay, well, he better get it finished.
He's going to be, as soon as some yellowtail start getting caught at the Coronados, he'll be online and ready to go.
We had the crew from the Liberty helping us with our show, PC, at the PCS show, helping us set up the booth and unload the truck. And those boys are fired up to go, man. And really, everybody's, got very high hopes with the islands. We came off of one of the best Coronado Islands year we've had in, maybe ever, but a fantastic year. And those guys are really fired up. And they all said the same thing, that the boat's in really good shape and it's really close.
Ready to go.
Well, as you can hear, again, we got a great show and we want to hear from you. Give us a call at 833-288-0973 or fire off those texts on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And when we come back, we're going to be taking those phone calls, reading those texts and more. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice, on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
Whether you're going fishing, diving, or just having fun on the water, there's nothing more worth doing than messing around in boats. So let me ask you, are you ready to upgrade your ride? Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland is your exclusive Western U.S. dealer for Steiger Craft. Created for inshore and offshore waters and laid out with the serious fisherman in mind, Steiger Craft has built a solid reputation for performance and excellent rough water handling. If adventure on the water is what you live for, now's the time to invest in your passion. Call Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland at 510-437-1444. To look at the whole fleet of Steiger Craft online, go to steigercraft.com. Now's the time for a rugged, reliable, and fast Steiger Craft from Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland.
I believe there is no doubt that the finest sport fishing in the world starts right here in San Diego. This is Captain Frank LoPreste. Our fleet of long-range boats and crew are unmatched, and the Royal Polaris and Shogun are right at the top of the list. Captain Jonathan Yamati and his crew aboard the Royal Polaris are considered to be the finest long-range vessel in the world. From summer bluefin, yellowtail, and wahoo to giant yellowfin tuna, our record is unmatched. The Shogun, under the direction of Captain Rene Monteagudo, has become one of the most popular long-range boats in the fleet. This big, wide, solid riding vessel has gained a reputation for catching fish and treating their customers to an epic vacation on the water. I am so proud of Jonathan, Rene, and the crews on both the Royal Polaris and Shogun, as they have helped me keep the reputation of the premier vessels in the long-range fleet. Come see for yourself. Book a trip on the Royal Polaris or Shogun today. Check RoyalPolarisSportFishing.com or ShogunSportFishing.com, or call Monica or Jen in the office at 619-226-80
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Whether you're boating, floating, paddling, fishing, or just chilling, remember a good day on the water always starts with everyone wearing life jackets. Save the ones you love. Life jackets save lives. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Mike and I were just talking about Doug's yellowtail tree.
The yellowtail tree.
Yeah.
Do you know about, Frank, Doug's yellowtail tree?
Yes, I do. And he said it was just starting to blossom about 3 days ago.
Which perfectly coincided with a couple of yellowtail swimming around the lake. And we just need to get one at the landing. It'll be much easier to start booking our springtime trips. We'll just look outside, look at the tree, and as soon as the flowers go, we'll just know it's yellowtail time.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So phones are packing up, texts are rolling through. They want to talk to Frank, they want to talk to Mike, they want to talk Rollo. Let's jump into it.
I think we should do just that. We're going to talk to John. He's calling us from Escondido this morning, getting us started here on the phones. John, good morning. Thanks for joining us and getting us started.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to listen to the show. And I had a great time at the PCS show, shaking hands with Frank and talking to Frank. And Mike was the first one to greet me as I was walking in, and he's like, "Hey, have you seen Tim yet?" And I go, "No, he'll be the second guy I see," But watching kids fish is just unbelievable. They get giddy, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm 64, and I'm a big kid, and I get giddy. I got to win one of those bats and rods last year. I was number 4, and what a beautiful 9-foot 6-inch stick that thing is. I mean, it's so pretty you don't even want to fish with it, but it fishes very well. I've got to fish. I've got to win some reels and things like that. I love participating, and when your call ID comes up and it's Tim and it's on a Tuesday, you know that you won something.
Wow.
It's fun, and even Mike, right? I'd love to see more of the knives, so I could have a collection of knives. With Rollo. That was a fun surprise early in the year. I mean, you're buying tickets anyway, and you get something to go with those tickets. And so what more could you ask for to have a double chance to win something?
And so how do you buy tickets? You just call up and do it over the phone, John?
Oh, absolutely. I got Tim on my phone. I don't need the number anymore, and I just call him up. I leave a message. He gives me a call back whenever he gets a chance, or I shoot him a text message, right? And he'll give me a call back when he gets a chance. And I purchased a bunch of tickets, and
that's great. That's great, John.
I see what it does.
Appreciate what you do, and it's all about taking kids fishing. And thanks a lot for your call this morning. Appreciate 100%. That, Mike. How does somebody call Tim right now if they want to buy tickets? They can call him right now and get in on this bats and rod giveaway as well as all the other stuff.
And they can do that by calling 951-264-7382. That's 951-264-7382. Or if you prefer, you can send an email to win@rollokids.org. win@rollokids.org. And all he needs is your name and phone number, and he'll call you back in the order that it comes in. We are not limiting the number of these tickets that we're going to sell. So it doesn't, just a matter of getting him your contact info. He'll get back to you and we'll get you. It takes 5 grand raffle tickets. That's $50 donation. And that will enter you into the custom rod giveaway. If you buy 10, then you'll get 2 entries into the custom rod giveaway, etc.
For every 5, you get an entry.
Yes, that's exactly right. And then for the grand raffle, you're in all 30.
All of them.
All 30 drawings that day at the docks. And then for the custom rods, there's going to be 6 winners. There'll be six
and each ticket
names.
is how much?
Well, they're $50. Each ticket is 10, but you got to buy 5 to get into the custom rod. So it's $50 donation for 5 grand raffle tickets and 1 entry into the custom
and you
rod.
can't buy them online, unfortunately, thanks to the state of California, but you can only do it by calling or emailing win@rollokids.org.
That's right. And it has to be a transaction over the phone. Unfortunately, we can't take payment and we can't take orders because we are based in California. And I know that's crazy. And I know other people say, well, I do it all the time. Well, that's fine, but it's illegal, and we're not going to get in the middle of jeopardizing our organization.
Right.
So we have to do it in person, like at the shows or over the phone. And the system is a little cumbersome, but it works. And as long as Tim is willing to hang in there and keep returning phone calls, we'll get it done.
Amazing.
The kids win with every single ticket. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. Rick, you have a great text.
I sure thought so. It says, good morning, guys. What a great show today with Frank and Mike. I'm a huge fan of everything Captain Rollo does. My question is for Frank. I'm going on the Shogun for the first time in May. What are some of the things that we could expect for this trip? Fishing, food, etc. I'm also bringing a newbie along with me that's going to need a rail rod for fishing. Are those available on the boat? Can we get them at the landing? He wants to know everything about going fishing on the Shogun this May.
Frank?
Yeah, first of all, a complete set of tackle can be available to any passenger that books. That will depend on what we're catching, and that's available at basically a no rental charge, but a payment for the new line, because every time a trip goes and somebody borrows equipment, we put brand new line on those outfits. So it's just the cost of the line, which isn't very much at all. And what to expect, I would say you're going to have yellowtail under kelp patties and hopefully some very, very good bluefin tuna fishing.
How's the outlook this week? I was out of town this week, but how the outlook, did it change? Did it get better? Did that fish move up? I know it was getting closer, right, Frank?
Yeah, there was fish within 100 miles of San Diego, actually within 80 miles of San Diego. And I saw pictures that were taken of some beautiful, huge schools of fish, all the way from 50 to 200 pounds, different schools. So where that fish is today, I do not know. That was about 4 or 5 days ago. Where it is today, I do not know. And, until we can get 2 or 3 boats out there, which hopefully, I believe there's one boat going out tonight, or went out last night. And I think there's, in the next few weeks, there's going to be quite a few boats going out. So I think we will be into bluefin tuna real soon. And, the projection is good. That's all I can say at this point.
Frank, you mentioned the issues with the warranties on the new engines on the Polaris Supreme. When will that be resolved in your eyes?
Well, they say they're planning on going on another sea trial Tuesday afternoon. So hopefully by then that'll be resolved and everything will be good, and he'll be on his way on Friday. On his next,
that's a 3-day trip, right?
Yeah, that was such a disappointment for us because everything had checked out well. And then the last test, it showed on a computer, and it was such a disappointment because Aliar really wanted to go last night or yesterday. So it's just a bummer that, you just don't burn up over $300,000 worth of engines or run them without a warranty.
That's for sure.
It's such a bummer because that was such a fun show having Captain Aliar and Captain Max on the radio show last week. And well, you're not kidding. I mean, those guys were chomping at the bit to get this rolling, and you could tell Aliar was so pumped, and we all just felt it. Like we knew that Polaris Supreme was getting on the ground and they were going to find that fish and that trip was going to catch. And I think we were all so excited I was excited coming in this morning to hear the report. I figured we'd have Aliar calling in. Yeah, we found him last night. We caught these amounts. So definitely a disappointment, but I'm sure those guys will get rolling real weekend. Soon and get those things going.
Frank, I got to say, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, Pete, one of the things I want to bring up is we're always looking for new ways. If somebody has an idea of how we can raise more funds so we can take more kids fishing, they can call me or call Mike Lum. But one of the ways that can help us a lot is, as you probably know, there's about maybe 4 guys that have charters on long range boats, or they're the charter master. and they have raised a lot of money. For example, John Collins is on a trip right now, and I'm willing to bet that he's going to raise $5,000 to $8,000 with raffle items. And this doesn't have to only apply to long range trips. Guys that have 1 and 2 day trips on charters can easily raise some money for Friends of Rollo. And what better thing can you do in your life than to send kids fishing and help give them something that they can look forward to doing the rest of their life? Once you get that first bite, I just find it hard to believe you're not going to want to go fishing again. So
yeah, no kidding.
There's plenty of ways that people can help, and especially those people that are chartering boats. That can be a great contributor to our funds.
Yeah, and clubs. What about your club? Helping out, doing things. Arnie from Vista has a text here. It says, "Good morning, Pete, Ricky, Mike, and Frank. Question for Mike and Frank: would Captain Rollo's have any interest in running kids trips in conjunctions with local fishing clubs? It's all about taking more kids fishing." It's a good point, Arnie, and that's something that is certainly available. And we challenge the local clubs to kind of get involved with Rollo.
Let me point
And
something
we
out.
already do that.
Yes,
we already do that. All they got to do is call us.
It was on my list of things to talk about, but we've gotten support from a lot of clubs in a lot of different ways. The most recent one that comes to mind is the Inland Empire Fishing Club. They asked if I would come out and speak to them. It's been 8 months ago, something like that. And I went out and reviewed the whole Rollo program with them, and they wanted to know how they could help. And so we got them involved with selling our grand raffle tickets. And like once a month now, they send me a book of the stubs and the money that they collected. So they're selling raffle tickets for us on a regular basis. Cool. And pretty much every time they send us a check for 30 raffle tickets, they send us $300 and the ticket stubs, and we'd send them another book. And it doesn't sound like all that much, but believe me, it adds up very quickly. And if we had 6 or 8 or 10 clubs doing the same thing, it would be a very substantial way of helping us. And I have no problem coordinating that with the individual clubs at any time they want to get involved.
I also think it should be noted, I know how much work Scott Sherman put into it. I seem like Mike, I got to do a seminar this week for the Southwestern Yacht Club Anglers Big Bottom Fish Tournament coming up. And I know that those guys are all very passionate about, that tournament that they do. I think it's in its 50th year, 55th year. I mean, and they have raised a lot of money over the years. They have all chosen to do Friends of Rollo as the benefactor of it, just because of what it means to them. Like that's a long-standing tournament and a long-standing club, and they wanted
such an honor for Rollo.
They wanted the money to go to future generations of fishermen, and that's exactly what Rollo does. It's creating fishermen, the next round up.
Absolutely.
And I just thought it was really cool that those guys wanted to do that.
And how appropriate to have Rock Cod Rick doing a Rock Cod seminar at the Southwestern Yacht Club. Have the seminar.
That was great. It was my honor to do it. Really fun guys. Yeah. That's a really
super great people.
That's a good
and thanks to
guys,
Scott
man.
and the whole group over there at Southwestern Yacht Club.
Very big supporters.
And that's a chunk of change that they're going to be donating.
No doubt about it, man. That's a real one.
For sure. Well, let's jump back on the phones.
You got it. The phones are absolutely packed up. If you want to get your chance to get through, it's 833-288-0973. Let's talk to Ed. He's calling us from University City this morning. Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning, guys. My question is, I have some fishing gear I want to donate, and where can I take that?
You can, depending on where you live, we have several drop-off places. Fisherman's Landing Tackle is one of the more popular places that tackle gets dropped off, and they've got a separate storage area just for us, and you can go in there anytime they're open and drop off tackle. If you need help getting it out of your truck, they'll help you with that as well. And then we pick up from them as the storage area gets full. You can also drop at Dana Landing. You can also drop off at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. And if you need something,
any place in the LA and Orange County,
we've got
Dana Wharf Sport Fishing in Orange
County. We got the Turners in Corona that will accept it as well. But if you're in an area you can't get to any of those I just mentioned, just reach out to Tim Baker. Would be tim@rollokids.org by email, and he'll coordinate with you on how to get your merchandise that you want to donate. But dropping it off at landings is a very common and very popular way to get the product to us.
And just to add to that, you need to do nothing. You don't need to make an appointment. You can literally just show up on a Tuesday afternoon and say, I've got a bunch of stuff. I decided that this was the gear that I've already upgraded. I'd like to donate the rest to Rollo. If you want to just drop it off and wash your hands and away you go, no problem, done deal. Yeah. If you'd like to get a receipt for the value of that donation, we're happy to do that for you too. Whatever it is, it's just it's
a tax deductible donation, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
It's a 501c3 corporation.
If you go to rollokids.org, all of our information is there. And if you have any questions at all you have to do is drop us a line. We can answer any questions, mail out receipts, whatever you need.
Thanks, Ed, for that, and appreciate the guy and all that tackle that we've collected. Is going to be up for sale at Day at the Docks Sunday, April 13th. So you want to be sure to note that.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We've got more of your phone calls, a whole lot more questions with Captain Frank and Mike. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan. When you're offshore fishing, the right gear makes all the difference, and that includes Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and more importantly, they service all the brands right there at their San Diego Shelter Island location. Need the best? The Fujinon Staboscope is the professional's choice. Looking for top-tier stabilization at a great price? The Fujinon Technostabi TSX 1440 delivers rock-steady vision even in rough waters, perfect for serious anglers. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they'll be there for you when your binoculars need service. Go see Anthony and the Baker Marine crew at Day at the Docks, Sunday, April the 13th, or stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and test a pair of Fujinon binoculars and see which one is right for you. The fishing season is here, and you know you need a pair of stabilized binoculars, so go get them from the experts at Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
Hey, this is Rosie with Cedros Sport Fishing. We have always been the leader with all-inclusive fishing trips to Cedros Island. We now have 2 lodges to choose from, and both sit on the cliff's edge with relaxing ocean views and gorgeous morning sunrises. With direct flights departing to the CBX in San Diego, we are committed to providing first-class service to our guests and an unforgettable fishing experience. Come check out the yellowtail and calico bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at cedrosportfishing.com. Book soon. Trips are going fast.
Hey, it's time for the 30-second Power Pro seminar. Here's the hot tip for those of us that like to fish with small reels for big fish. Fill your spools with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro. That means you're going to get more line on that small reel. Plus, you can fly line your bait more effectively. Here's another tip about Power Pro Max Quattro. Your casting distance will increase in addition to increasing your spool capacity. So downsize your tackle and use Power Pro Max Quattro. Check powerpro.com for more information.
Have you been looking for a live bait hook that keeps live bait alive? Look no further than Japan's leading fish hook, Gamakatsu. It's the little things that make the difference, and Gamakatsu hooks drive the point home. With an absolute perfect bend and ideal barbs, your bait swims harder and longer. And when you get bit, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Check gamakatsu.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing, talking Rollo. Springtime is here. Having a great time, Pete.
Absolutely. Well, let's find out what's biting.
All right, man. It is time for the catch report. As always, we got our man standing by, Marcos from C4 Sport Fishing. Today, that report is sponsored by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It is the place to fill up your car, your truck, or your boat with the lowest in gas and diesel prices. Also, did you know Summit is the place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? Over 40 snacks, all for 89 cents. Now you can get those killer burritos or sandwiches for your trip, all made fresh daily. Ice is less than half the price of most of the other places. Only $3.99 for a 25-pound bag of ice. Also, you get 100 pounds of ice for free with a 35-gallon fill. It's Summit Gasoline, free ice for Let's Talk Hookup listeners, and always the lowest prices on gas at the San Diego Sports Arena. We got Marcos from C4 Sport Fishing standing by. Good morning, Marcos.
Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing today?
Doing great, buddy. Good morning.
Well, I've got to say the weather finally cooperated, and we got some weekend trips out. San Diego got out on their first full-day trip today after getting pushed back from last week. So they're going to go down to the islands there, see what they can find. And we also have the tribute out on a day and a half. and they've been trying to get those out and just been struggling with that. So hopefully we get some good signs from both of those guys. It's getting that time of year, you know, where maybe we'll see some yellowtail, maybe we'll see some bluefin. So definitely keep an eye on the reports for that. Otherwise, those half-day trips that did get out during the week, a nice mix of whitefish and a few other bottom fish in the mix there. Some sheephead, a couple sculpin in there. So definitely check the website. Hopefully the weather stays nice here and we'll get more trips out. But we got those half-days up there. We got the San Diego trip. We got a 2-day on the Pacific Voyager, a couple of them trying to get out during the week here. Next weekend, a 2.5-day on the Pacific Voyager, day and a half on the Tribute there. So lots of options. Seaforthlanding.com. Got our full schedule up there for all those trips. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. Come down, visit us in person, get that gear tuned up because the season's about to get rolling here, and get on trip and get out there, you know, and hopefully the weather stays good and I can actually give you guys a little meteor report next weekend.
I like it. Boy, it sure feels right, man. This is just C4 sport fishing weather. It's just time to go, Marco. So we're excited. Glad to hear that there's several opportunities to go fishing with you coming up this week, and we'll look forward to another full report next week.
I'll talk to you then, guys.
Thanks, Marcos.
Thanks, Marcos.
Appreciate that very much.
Appreciate it very much. And Mike just handed me one of the rods.
I think that's my favorite of the batch.
This what a beautiful rod, but I love the name. The Judge, right? It's the Judge LB, and it's a 710. It's got to be a rail rod, you think?
I don't think so. That's the LB is a live bait series. It's just that's a beautiful rod.
But man, what a beast of a rod.
Yeah, the Judge series from Batson are really nice. They're graphite and fiberglass composite rods. As you can feel from hanging onto that thing, it's incredibly light.
Yes.
That one's got all those Alps guys. That one's my favorite.
I see it on YouTube and Facebook Live. It's quite the rod. That's just one example of
look at how the reel seat has the color coordinated slots
like
in it.
There's a cutout. So it's a gunmetal reel seat with those cobalt blue hoods and collet nuts on it. But there's like a cutout in the reel seat so you can see the blue inside of the gray seat. And then the guides, the insert ring on the guides matches the same color as the wraps and the reel seats. Like that was
pretty cool.
Very, very well put together. That's
and it's got the Rollo logo on it. That's all the giveaway rods are going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Well, let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. The phones are packed up. This time we're going to talk to Robert, and he's calling us from Canyon Country this morning. Robert, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Awesome show. I just want to do a shout out for Christy from Dawson Insurance. I'm at Lake Castaic right now getting ready to launch. My insurance company canceled me yesterday, and in 45 minutes last night, that lady had me hooked up, and she is just a ball of fun and the greatest person.
Yeah, for sure. Christy does miracles. She did the same for me. Like I couldn't get insurance in Mexico on my boat. Called Christy, had it handled like in a day, and it was no problem. Frank, I know she does wonders for you guys in the fleet too, right?
Absolutely.
That's how I got hooked up with her.
So
I heard her talking on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she mentioned that she was insuring a lot of the boats in the harbor, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to call her. 45 minutes later, I had a text, I have insurance. She's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, thanks. Hey, good luck fishing at Castaic. Sounds a little breezy up there today. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. Appreciate that. Yeah, Frank, the other thing, too, that we should say about Dawson is when somebody's going on the Royal Polaris or the Shogun, the trip insurance, right, Frank?
Well, any long-range boat. So, you know, it's something that people quite often feel, well, I'm going on the trip for sure. Nothing's going to go wrong. Well, then 2 weeks before the trip, somebody, a wife hurts herself, sprains her sprains her ankle or hurts her back or whatever. There's always something that comes up. Not always, but quite often. So having the trip insurance just saves your money and nobody loses. Everybody's a winner. And yes, it costs a few bucks, but it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable for what you get for sure. Definitely. Well, you have a great text, right,
I
Rick?
thought so. Yeah, definitely. It says, guys, can you name some of the boats that participate in taking the kids fishing? I love Captain Rollo's and I want to support the people that are supporting you. My second question is, how does the gear and supplies work? Is it rental rods from the landing? Do different manufacturers donate rods? And lastly, how many kids do you guys take out on a single trip? Congratulations for all the hard work you guys put in.
Well, we work from landings all the way from San Diego up to San Francisco Bay. So it depends entirely on where the group is coming from and what makes best sense for them. We do an awful lot of trips out of the San Diego landings, all three of them. And then we do a lot out of Dana Wharf up there in Orange County, and then we work north up into Marina del Rey, and we do trips out of Santa Barbara. So most all the landings have boats available to us, and it just depends on the time of the year and boat availability. And of course, we have some boats that do a really generous job with us, and we get very good rates. We provide a hot lunch with every trip, so the kids get a hamburger or a hot dog, whatever it is. And then as far as the tackle, we use the boats, the landings rental tackle. We don't try to provide tackle for each trip on our own. We rely on the boats to do that, and that works out really well for us. When we collect used tackle, which we talk about regularly, that tackle is actually not used for taking kids fishing. It is used to generate money to take kids fishing. The way this program works is other groups of children apply to us, and they say, look, I've got 35, 40, 45 kids that I would like to take out. How does this work? They fill out a short application, contact.
Which you can do it right online.
Yes, very easily.
RolloKids.org.
Super easy. Yeah. RolloKids.org, and fill out the form. Howard Coolidge will contact you and find out how many kids and the time frame and the location. And then once all those details are worked out, we coordinate and schedule the boat. And then, of course, the entire trip is paid for. And your responsibility is to get your kids to and from the landing. We take care of everything else. We do also work in partnership with a lot of groups who may not have the funds to do the entire trip themselves. And so we end up sharing the cost, and we're very open to that. We have some groups that are funded well enough they can actually pay for the trip, which is wonderful, but they still need help coordinating it, getting the discount on the boats, et cetera. So we do that well as well. So any combination of those things, we try to make it a minimum of 30 kids per boat. 35, 40 is actually preferable in most cases. But if you've got a group of 30 kids, contact us, and we'll try to do our best to get you on a boat and get the schedule so that it works for your group.
All right, let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. How about this time we talk to Chuck, and he's calling us from Dana Point this morning. Hi, Chuck. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Man, spring fishing's here. We missed the first trip. I was like Ricky said, I was waiting for the call in, crazy. But I challenge all you guys. I just got my tickets on the last break, and I had to cut them short so I can get back to listening to the show.
So you called that number. What's the number, Mike?
The number is 951-264-7382.
And Tim picked up the phone, and you bought your tickets, right?
Yep. Yeah, he said he needed stuff to do. Call in.
All right.
He's awesome. A busy guy, man. But we got talking about how cool those bats and rods are, and the giveaway, the energy they bring. I was telling him a gal won a yellow tail stick, and it was her first stick. She didn't even have one. Now she started out with a custom wrap. That's a hook for life. And then a Marine won one, and I talked to him, told him how many hours are in it. He was just sitting there staring at it. They're just works of art. How cool all that.
And it's a bonus. Yeah, it's a bonus for this Rollo raffle, which is super cool.
Yeah, you buy those 5 tickets to get into the grand raffle, which is 30 prizes that total $30,000+. And then as an extra, if you buy 5 of them, then you get entered into this custom rod drawing as well. So it's really a very good opportunity. And like I repeatedly say, the kids win with every single ticket that gets bought.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, Chuck. Appreciate it very much. And thanks for being a supporter of Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea, Friends of Rollo. Brian in Newport has a good text. Good morning, guys. I love Friends of Rollo. Takes thousands of kids fishing, showing them the amazing sport we all love. My favorite thing to do at fishing shows is to see Tony G at the Rollo booth spin the wheel. Thanks for all that you do. And that, Tony G is just one of several, or certainly Tony G's one of the top of the line.
He's the most
volunteers,
colorful.
right?
I will say that for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually that color is orange,
Yeah.
but he is unbelievable and so generous with his time. I
Yeah.
don't think I have ever asked him to come to an event that he didn't, before he even finished what the event was, said, I'll be there.
That's cool.
He is unbelievable.
He just is one of those guys, like several people that support not only Rollo but also CCL, all the volunteers that do all kinds of good stuff in our fishing world. It's a good group.
When we were at PCS, Tony's definitely who made it really special for Wyatt. You know, he's just so animated and loud and fun and keeps that wheel going. And Tony's the reason that Wyatt was so fired up. And it was really cool. Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. Another full hour on the stream and the app. We're going to be looking forward to joining you there. You got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, and YouTube Live. We're going to see you then.
It may be winter in Southern California, but those of us who live here know it's a great time of year to go fishing, and certainly not time to put your gear away. This is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. This is the ideal time for bay bass fishing, and I get the inside scoop from Johnny. Heck, he will even rent you one of our killer blue skiffs. This is also a good time to go work on your reels, and Doug is the man for that job. If big largemouth bass are your bag, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. They have all the right stuff and live bait for a perfect day on the lake. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is super cool too, for both freshwater and saltwater tackle. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is on Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers. When you're offshore fishing, the right gear makes all the difference, and that includes Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and more importantly, they service all the brands right there at their San Diego Shelter Island location. Need the best? The Fujinon Staboscope is the professional's choice. Looking for top-tier stabilization at a great price? The Fujinon TechnoStabi TSX 1440 delivers rock-steady vision even in rough waters, perfect for serious anglers. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they'll be there for you when your binoculars need service. Go see Anthony and the Baker Marine crew at Day at the Docks, Sunday, April the 13th, or stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and test a pair of Fujinon binoculars and see which one is right for you. The fishing season is here, and you know you need a pair of stabilized binoculars, so go get them from the experts at Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
Long-range fishing, nothing beats Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Come check out the Shimano Talica, the pinnacle of lever drag 2-speed reels. The Talica features Shimano's Hagani body when throwing jigs. The Shimano Trinidad is your top choice. With the extreme cranking power and Shimano's Super Free Spool provides extreme castability. You'll be able to put your jig in the Wahoo zone. For all your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. When you want to catch big bluefin tuna, you need Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. The Shimano Beastmaster is the pinnacle of electric reels. Shimano's Gigamax motor packs a winding strength up to 250 pounds, ideal for kite fishing and more. Shimano's butterfly flatfall jigs are irresistible to bluefin tuna because they stay in the strike zone longer. Shimano makes a complete line of butterfly flatfall jigs to target your favorite game fish. For all your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sanders.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live. Pete Gray here, along with Rock Cod Rick Maxa in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup, here right next to Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Mike Lum is here in our world headquarters, and Frank LoPreste is on the line with us, talking Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea. We're talking fishing on the Royal Polaris and Shogun and Polaris Supreme, Seaforth, and Fisherman's Landing. It's happening.
Yeah, it is.
We got a lot going on here today.
No doubt about that. And we want to have a lot going on with you. If you want to join us on the second hour, keep those texts coming through the Let's Talk Hookup app. There's already been a bunch of great ones, and we've got another full hour to continue on with those texts. If you want to ask a question of Mike Lum or Captain Frank LoPreste, and boy, we're having a great time talking fishing and finding out what's biting out there. We are giving away a killer prize at the end of today's show, and that is a full day trip to go fishing on board the Liberty with Captain Taro and his great crew. And like Frank said, I think that boat's going to be up and going here this weekend, so we'll be excited to see those guys prowling around the Coronado Islands and catching some yellowtail and having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, what kind of things did they do on the Liberty this year?
What kind of thing?
Like updates, like what they've been working so hard on it. And I've seen it here from the world headquarters, how much stuff they've been doing.
Well, Pete, as you know, Coast Guard has gotten very, very tough on us. And they have really come down on all wooden boats to where they're asking for reinforcements that kind of, I'm not going to say they're not warranted, but it makes you wonder. And for example, on the Liberty, they put in an additional new bulkhead, and it was about, I'd say a full month's worth of work of good carpenters, Sal doing his thing, and it was mostly below decks. So a lot of the work there, the boat is in beautiful shape. The galley's in beautiful shape. It looks wonderful. But most of the work done on the Liberty is work that is mainly for the safety of the angler and of the vessel itself, and is not going to be visible. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's find out what's biting, Rick.
You got it, man. We're going to continue on with our Kedge Report with our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, who brings us that great fishdope.com report, which today is sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com and be sure you make your reservations today. We got him. Captain Mark Wish is on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ricky, Pete, Mike, Frank. Great show. Fun stuff. Holy cow, guys. So for the first report of our spring season, I am sure glad we got some nice weather for a change.
Yeah.
Improving conditions. A few more biting fish to talk about. Man, that was a long, boring stretch there for a little bit.
Ooh.
But, yeah. But, with all the wind we've had everywhere, that poor water, man, it took a hit. Temperatures just plummeted, but they're creeping back. And I was looking at some of the coastal buoys yesterday afternoon on some of the weather reports there. Some of them actually hit 60 for a little bit. Now, I know that's surface temp, but still in all, it's starting to look like springtime. Probably helped encourage that yellowtail down there off La Jolla to do that nice little bite we've had a couple of days there. And imagine there's more than a few boats working on it today. So it'll be interesting to see if that holds up. So in other news there, weather's still up on the outside, still breezing. So we got nothing from San Nicolas or Santa Barbara Island. And, with the cod closure, there's not a lot of reason to go out there anyway. So after April 1st, we're going to get a bunch more reports when the weather straightens out. from them outer islands. Over at Catalina, just inside the wind line now. And, that poor island at the start of the week, it just got brutalized by that big north wind we had. Oh, man, it was blowing. Water was 54 in the isthmus the other day, where I had some friends over there making bait. And they did make a little bit of bait, and chased a few fireballs around and caught a little bit. So I had enough to fish with. Weather's much better now, and I would imagine those backside bait spots are definitely going to get checked today. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if somebody scrounges up a few sea bass. That halibut fishing yesterday was actually pretty good for the few guys that were on it, fishing some of those beaches. Man, there was fish over 20 pounds captured yesterday. So good news there. And then same scenario locally. For the private boat guys that are taking this halibut thing seriously, man, there's been some big ones to be caught. A lot of it's out there just inside the horseshoe on the little hard bottom spots there. But 25-pound plus, there's been some nice ones. So make sure your gear is perfect, guys. And if you want to really get a better shot at that bigger fish, take the time to try and catch a mackerel, which have been kind of scarce. But if you fish around the bait barges with the bait rig, you put a little piece of bait on it. You can also catch herring, and those big halibut love those herring too. So that's a good tip. And as a little reminder, guys, lobster season is over. It's done. It was a really good season for an awful lot of guys, both locally and Catalina. But don't be out there poking around trying to get another lobster, or you're going to get in trouble. So, Pete, I got a special request.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, are you there?
And I don't want
got
to
you,
step
Frank.
on.
Well,
I don't want to step
all of a
on
sudden you went
Gundy's
blank on
toes
me,
here.
Pete.
All right. Well,
and
we're
do
doing
it.
a report here, Frank. So hang tight. We're getting right back. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I had a customer come in the other day, and he was asking me about little tiny hooks, little tiny treble hooks. I said, "What do you want to do with that? Go trout fishing?" He goes, "No, surf perch." I go, "With a treble hook?" And he goes, "Yeah, you need them to hook sandworms on." I go, "Sandworms?" And then he proceeded to give me a whole lesson in how to catch and use sandworms, and for the spotfin croaker that are biting off Sunset Beach. So that's Gundy's turf there. But I didn't know a damn thing about catching sandworms. I didn't know how easy they were to catch for a beach guy if you're into that kind of stuff. So pass that one on to Gundy and get him to give us a lesson on fishing sandworms.
You got it, Mark. That sounds pretty good. Well, yeah, fishing season is here. And of course, fishdope.com has your reports. $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, no space. Hookup Now is your $30 code. And Mark, how do we find you?
Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of both at Chica and Edinger. Phone number at the store is area code 714-840-4262. The website, pacificedgetackle.com. And God, it's nice to have some reports and some better weather to talk about.
And I can't imagine next week. I'm gonna bet you're gonna be talking sea bass next week.
Well, we're going to be talking sea bass, whether they're biting or not. We just got to talk about some things that guys need to know about this time of year. But I bet we're going to be talking tuna. I bet those guys get on them fish down there today.
I'll bet you're right, for sure. Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. And we will talk to you next Saturday.
Okay, you got it. We'll see you guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
All right.
That wraps up our catch report.
That it does. And boy, what a great time. And like I said, I'm just so glad that we've got that consistency and weather to look forward to, and hopefully good fishing in front of us.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're talking Captain Rollo's. And Mike, give that phone number out again.
Okay, to get a hold of Tim and buy these tickets, it's 951-264-7382. 951-264-7382. That is also available at rollokids.org.
All right. Hey, speaking of reports, the sports barber, Alex, who's also a very generous guy to Captain Rollo's Kids at Sea, as well as CCA, sent in a report here. It says, calicos have been biting all week for me and my crew, MK and Foster. 50-plus day on Monday at the Calico capital of the West, which is, of course, Dana Point, right? And Al's on it.
They live in his backyard. He knows where every house is.
And speaking of calicos, I just returned at 12:30 this morning, thanks to Volaris and their 3-hour delay out of Mazatlan, back from Lake Picachos. fishing with Captain Benny Florentino all week.
Oh, how fun was that?
Bass fishing, which is not my deal. Okay, freshwater bass fishing is not my deal, but this trip was. It kind of made my deal.
It's everybody's
deal down there. And Anglers Inn, oh my gosh, that place is like first class, and it was biting. And we had lots of nice big fish, and I learned some great techniques from Captain Benny. But we're just talking about calico fishing and his routine and stuff. And Benny's just amazing, and his Camus boat that he runs,
gorgeous.
Benny is just like such a great guy. So he's pretty full this year, but if you ever have a chance to go fishing with Captain Benny Florentino at Coastal Charters, check it out.
What was the big fish that came between you and Captain Benny on the boat?
Well, between me and Benny had a 7.4. I mean, we both had 6s. We had multiple 5s, and we got into a jig bites where every fish, like in no time, we had like 30 fish, all 3 to 5 pounds.
Oh, I love
on the jig. It was amazing.
That's a cool bite too, because
I love it.
The thud is cool, and then boy, it's one of the few times where you can really cross their eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really give it to them on the jig.
Oh yeah,
how fun! Good for you guys.
No, it was cool, but just the pleasure of fishing, and the whole group. It was a group from Dana Landing, Steve Bernard, Patrick G, and a lot of the guys, Johnny White from Dana Landing, and a lot of the guys from ECBT, and of course Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle. It was a great group. So
that's awesome.
And our good friends Mark and Zach, who've been on a lot of trips with us. So it was a good group of buddies, and just a super fun time in the sun down there, because it was like 47 in the morning, and then it was like 97 in the middle of the day. But it was cool. But other than getting home at 12:30 this morning, it was pretty smooth.
Bass fishing in Mexico is pretty special.
It's a pretty special day, and no issues with cartel in that area. I know El Salto's had lots of problems, but that's only an hour out of Mazatlan, so that's pretty touristy area, and didn't see any signs. Nobody talked about it there. It was just no issues.
Status quo,
which
is
nice.
Usual.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys had such a good trip, man. That sounds
trip.
like fun. Well, we had a great text come through. It says, "Good morning, guys. Captain Frank and Mike as well. I was hoping that you guys could speak a little bit on who Captain Rollo was and what inspired this organization."
Well, Rollo started as first of all, he worked at Hermosa Bait and Tackle, and then he eventually became a crew member, actually a galley cook on the boat Cortez with Dean Adams. And he was over there for about a year and a half. And then he expressed to me that he would really like to work on the Royal Polaris as a crew member. So he came over as a deckhand and worked for us for several years. Then he got his license and was soon running some trips and did a phenomenal job. Rollo had an instinct for finding fish and had the best set of eyes of any person I've ever known. Eddie of Eddie's Bombs, or whatever you want to call Eddie, Falarca, he's got a tremendous set of eyes. But Rollo, I've said it before, he would spot a flat spot or a breezer 3 to 5 miles away. Wow. And he was just amazing.
And that was before gyros, right, Frank?
Oh, yeah, we didn't have gyros.
Yeah, just 7x50s.
Anyhow,
can you imagine Rollo on a set of gyros now?
Oh, he would be amazing. He'd be amazing. But anyhow, he had a tremendous personality with customers, kids, everybody that would come on the boat loved Rollo. And he was just such an enthusiastic guy. And it was just a really sad ending for him. And however, something good has come of it. It started in our living room at home with the suggestion of a kids program in Rollo's honor. And he loved turning kids on to fishing. So that's how it all started, and that's who Rollo was. An amazing captain, amazing crew member, just a real asset to the sport fishing industry.
Yeah,
well said. That's awesome.
And what a legacy to be able to continue that you've done, Frank, and with the help of Tim and Mike and all the crew of the Rollo people have just done a tremendous job. And how many thousands of kids have gone fishing now?
Well, we're north of 150,000 now since the program started in '99, And I think while we're talking about accolades of various things that got started, the years that John Rowe was the director of Friends of Rollo, he was practically a one-man band when he was doing the fundraising, he was doing the trip coordination, he was doing all of the stuff that we now have a team of people doing. But if it weren't for those years of him doing what he did and being the face and voice of Rollo at the various events, he laid the foundation that allowed us to expand the organization. So just wanted to make sure everybody remembered what a special guy John Rowe was.
Yes, he was. Right, Frank?
Very, very good, Mike. That was good of you to bring him up, because he was a one-man show and keeping things going, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yes, he did. Yeah, for sure. Hey, one person I forgot to mention on our Lake Picacho's trip was the guy that caught the biggest fish in the group. You're not going to believe it.
Don't tell me.
Ron Lane.
Hey,
yeah, from
all
Fast Lane
right.
Kayaks.
Nice, Ron.
Yeah, he got a 7.7 yesterday.
And
yesterday morning.
What was that 7.7 on? Do we know?
It was on a worm.
On a worm.
They sat. He and Chris Minnick sat in the same spot all morning, fishing the worm. And down there, if you want to, and it doesn't matter whether it's salto. Frank knows this. You want to catch a big one, sit there in a spot where the big fish hang out and fish a worm. Right?
That's cool.
That's a good spot. But anyway, some great stuff. Tony in Hesperia writes, good morning. On a trip with 30 to 40 kids, how many adult chaperones do you typically need?
Good question.
Mike?
Well, I mean, it depends a little bit on the group. We do rely also on the crews on the boats. They help out a lot. So typically, if you've got a group of 30 kids, we'd like to see a minimum of 4 adults, and 5 is fine. But keep in mind that we don't want adults fishing. We want the adults helping the kids to fish. So we do try to control that. The adults are there to help the kids, keep an eye on things, and assist. It's not a fishing trip for the adults.
Well said.
Yeah. That's
an important point to make, Mike.
Yeah. How does somebody wants, hey, I want to help the kids.
You know, we get that at every event we do. We have people come up that want to do that. And the way our organization is structured, because we don't organize the trips, we don't assemble the kids. We would prefer the groups that we are granting trips to coordinate that on their own. So if you wanted to take part and be on a trip, you really need to coordinate that with the individual groups that are asking for the trips, not us, because we're not going to take a volunteer and plug them on somebody else's trip. That would just not be appropriate, and we don't want to get really in the middle of it. We are the vehicle that provides these trips financially. Our efforts are put into raising the money so these trips can be put on. But at the landings, the boats, the groups themselves are the ones that coordinate and decide who's going to chaperone those trips.
I had another great text come through. It says, good morning, guys. I absolutely love what Friends of Rollo does to get kids out of the house and on the water. My wife is an elementary school teacher, and I'd love to know how to get her students on one of these trips. Also, is there a grade level that you guys prefer? What trips have you seen be the most successful? Thanks for everything you guys do. That's from Sean in Blossom Valley.
Yes, that's a really great question. And it's something that we do currently with a number of public and private schools. It's a great incentive to the kids. Chris Stanley, a San Diego school teacher for years, for decades, he is probably the longest standing host, I guess you'd call it. And what he did for, I think it was 17 or 18 consecutive years, was he took his 5th grade class every year on a Friends of Rollo trip. And he would incentivize the kids at the beginning of the year and say, look, we're going to do a trip near the end of the year, but if you don't do your work, if you don't do, well in school, you're not going to be invited on the trip. And it really did have an impact. And Chris was so successful in that the kids in the 3rd grade coming up already knew about what was going to happen in 5th grade, and they looked forward to it. And then other teachers wanted to use the same thing. So Chris was kind enough to say, okay, I'll do it for your class as well. So the other teachers were doing the same thing, and Chris was the the chaperone of those trips. And even to this day, and he has a different role now in the schools that he is involved with, but he takes multiple trips each year that Rollo grants to him and those kids. So yes, it is doable. All you need to do is fill out the application and contact Howard Coolidge, and they'll work with you. As far as the grade levels go, I think 5th is perfect. 4th is fine. I don't know that we've done 3rd graders, but we might have. We might have. I would say if you've got somewhere between 4th, 5th, 6th, even some of the middle school, give Howard a call or fill out the app and have a conversation. We would love to take your kids out.
Hey, Frank, is there any area that, can you do this anywhere? Southern California, Northern California, where can the trips happen?
Anywhere from San Diego all the way up to the Bay Area.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And is it primarily saltwater, or are there some opportunities for guys that are inland to do some freshwater opportunities?
We have sponsored some things when they have tournaments at lakes for kids. We have sponsored prizes and things for kids on lake tournaments on several occasions.
Okay.
Steve Carson, and everybody is so familiar with Steve Carson, lived in Northern Cal for a long time, and he coordinated a group up there that was several hundred kids, 400 or 500, I think, maybe once each year. And we worked with him with his program as well. So we're not rigid. We're not completely, black and white on all this stuff. If you guys have programs that you want us to assist with, I'm not saying we necessarily can on everything, but don't hesitate contacting us and having a conversation. If you're a local fishing club, we talked about them earlier, and you want to sponsor and coordinate a trip, please get a hold of us and let's work together. If you guys can help raise some money, we can help raise some money. Before you know it, we got 40 or 50 more kids out on the water that wouldn't have gotten out there with just your efforts, or maybe even with just our efforts. But working together, we can reach more kids.
Frank, you've been in part of this fishing industry for 60 plus years, I'm going to just say. Why is it important for us to encourage kids to be on the water? What benefit is this for the future of our world here?
Well, Pete, number one, kids today are spending way too much time on computers and not getting out enough. And a lot of it has to do with mom and dad having to, to take care of a family. Both are working. So that's part of it. So getting them out on the water, out of the house, is one thing. The other thing is, more than anything, in my opinion, it gives them something that they really can get into. It's not just about one fishing trip. The one fishing trip can lead into him wanting his own rod and reel, wanting to go often out fishing more, being part of a group of kids that enjoy it. As you know, there's programs in San Diego now where kids can letter in fishing, and also, we have a gang problem. Are you aware of the gang problem we have, Pete?
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad problem. It's a great gang problem. The kids now get together and groups of 8 or 10 kids and go fishing on piers and docks and surf.
That's true.
And surf fish.
See them. I see them. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you
that's
wanna,
a good gang.
What better thing than you could have is to have your son in a fishing gang? I mean, tell me.
No, it's
it's
true.
Nothing but good stuff.
No question about it.
So there's and it keeps once they have that kind of interest, instead of saving money to buy drugs or to vape or do anything else, they're buying fishing tackle. They're into a sport, and the next thing you know, they've got their own tackle box and they've got 2 or 3 rods, and they are figuring a way to get on a 3/4 day boat and whatever else they can.
That's true. Man. No, that's cool for sure. We have a great text, huh?
I thought so. It says, good morning, gentlemen. What a great show this is. And the Rollo Kids fishing program is so amazing. My question is, what is the minimum amount of kids we need to get a group together, and what's the maximum that you can comfortably put on a trip? Also, what's the best way about chartering a boat for a class of kids? Another teacher, Kathleen, in Ocean Beach.
We don't have
You want to get that, Mike?
Yes, I will, Frank. Thanks. We don't have a definite number because there are various size boats and there's different landings. It all depends on where you're located and when you want to go.
Like,
and the
what's the
size of your
smallest
group.
group? What's the biggest group?
Well, I would say if you've got 25 kids, that's probably a starting number, but I'm not going to discourage you. If you have less than that, please reach out to us and let's have a conversation. Talk to Howard. There are opportunities to do slightly smaller trips. As far as on the upper side, there are boats that can accommodate over 50 kids. And we've done that numerous times. The Dana Pride out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing is one that comes to mind. We've had several trips there where there were, I believe, 60 kids, and there were special groups that we had. And I don't want to discourage you. Please contact us and let's have a conversation.
And good for you as a teacher to do that too. Let's encourage all teachers out there. You want to take your kids fishing, Rollo will pay for the whole thing. That's what this is all about.
We have so many groups, Pete, that when they first contact us it's like, what's the catch?
What's the catch?
There's got to be more to this. This can't work the way you say it does. And trust me, it works exactly like we're describing. If we can coordinate the time and the date and the amount of kids, all you have to do is get them there and take them back. Those kids will benefit for a lifetime on this one trip. And
they'll get a part of a gang, like Frank was talking about.
They very easily could.
Roving the docks.
So please just reach out to us. Go to rollokids.org, fill that form out. And
it's that simple. Just go rollokids.org. On one of the tabs on the top, I think it says
trips or trip requests or something to that. Request. It's really easy. And the ultimate goal is you want to have a conversation with Howard Coolidge. And that's the guy that handles all the trip requests. He's the one that will coordinate with you. And very rarely do I hear a situation where he just shrugs his shoulders and says, there's nothing we can do. There's always some way we can work this out. So please have that conversation with him. I want to give that phone number out because that's the most important number today. Tim Baker can be reached at 951-264-7382. If you want to get involved and support this organization by buying raffle tickets for the grand raffle, they're $10 a piece.
That is given away April 13th.
Yes, coming up here, Day at the Docks. We're going to give away all these prizes, $30,000 worth of prizes, plus 6 custom rods. And you can get those tickets today by calling that number, 951-264-7382.
Yeah, or send him an email.
Yeah, you
can.
at
rollokids.org.
That's correct. All Tim needs he'll be answering that email, and all he needs is your name and phone number. He'll know why you're calling.
Okay, so why do we need so much money to take kids fishing, Mike? What's the story?
Well, I mean, everybody knows that everything in our lives have gone up a lot in the last few years. It was only a few years ago I was sitting behind this microphone and we were talking about $35 a kid is what the average was for our annual trips. We're now at $70 to $75 per trip.
And that's because you're paying for the trip, the tackle, the food, all the factors.
We pay for everything except your transportation to and from the landing. And so because of that, the trip costs have gone up like everything else. And so it's important, it's critically important if we're going to continue to take the number of kids out that we get requests for, we have to raise more money. And that's why we are constantly asking you to buy raffle tickets, come down and spin the wheel, send us donations, become a charter master that's putting on a Rollo raffle on the trip, club selling tickets. It's a year-round effort. We don't have the luxury of large grants. We don't have big corporate America writing us giant checks.
But if you're a corporate American listening and you have a love to take kids fishing, please
write us a giant check.
We'd sure love one of those big checks. You know, one of the things that it would be wonderful to get those big checks, but they just don't come. And it's an effort on Mike's part and everybody else to get it together, and all these fundraisers make a big difference. I have personally, just so people know, called each landing up and down the coast, and we have tried to keep the price down on the cost of the trip and also on the cost of the rent rods. We have some landings that don't even charge for the cost of the rent rods. So, and the ones that do, it's a minimum charge to just cover the line charge. So everybody's trying to donate, but as Mike has put it, the cost has gone up just like everything else.
I got to watch an interaction with a gentleman that brings a group of kids fishing that met up with Frank at the tackle store, and I thought it was really cool. Their kids were a little bit older, I think maybe high school or middle school, and I'll be bummed that I don't recall, but they fundraise on their own all year long, and then Rollo kicks in the additional. So I mean, it was a trip that those kids look forward to all year long, and they do their own fundraising. So they brought the funds that they had to the table that might not be enough to charter the boat, but then Rollo kicked in the rest to get it finished off. So if it was like a reward system for those guys, like they were really working really hard towards it, and Rollo just helped get the rest of the way.
We also prioritize when we have a situation where we're really kind of limited on our funds. We do heavily prioritize. We want to take the inner city kids. We want to take kids that will never have an opportunity other than through our program. We have a group out of the west side of Los Angeles that we do a trip for once a year, and they have a letterhead for their organization that starts off with their mission statement. And their mission statement is, our goal is to keep our kids in school and out of jail. Now think about that for a moment. That's a mission statement of an organization that works year round to make sure that their kids have a chance at living a normal life. And the role that we play on that, of making these trips available for them, is life-changing. And when I say life-changing, I say that in all sincerity. I don't care if you're an inner city kid that is at risk of becoming involved in gangs or ending up in jail or worse, or whether you're a kid from a fairly middle-class neighborhood. The memories and the lesson that you learn by being on the water for the first time, they will remember the sea lions. They will remember the seagulls. They'll remember the pelicans, the starfish they see on the rocks. They'll remember the sardines or anchovy in the bait tanks 50 years from now.
Totally.
Yep.
They may not remember what fish they caught, but they'll remember the trip, and they'll remember the experience, and they'll have a completely different appreciation for the ocean because of these trips. It truly is life-changing for all of them.
And it's great. What a great thing. And I'm going to, one more thing on that is, you think, oh, well, Rollo's doing fine. They have plenty of money to take kids fishing. Nuh-uh. We
spend every dime we raise. Let's put it that way.
Everything. and there are times where we don't have enough money to do these charters. And so we have to cut back on the number of charters that we do. So
that's why
we need the help.
Howard is really, really good at working with the various groups. And if your group applies what we say is accurate, we will pay for everything. But if you are capable and willing to help us raise some money, we're going to ask you to do that as well. And there's a lot of groups that say, we would be happy to give you the money for the trip. We just don't know how to coordinate it. We don't know how to do it.
For example, the Southwestern Yacht Club Bottom Fish Tournament. Those guys stepped up. They're giving last year they gave us 50% of the proceeds. This year they're giving 100% of the proceeds, and it's a sizable check that they do. What a wonderful thing for that.
Sizable.
Yeah, what a wonderful thing Scott Sherman and the guys over at Southwestern Yacht Club are doing to take kids fishing. And what could be better than that if you're sponsoring a tournament to go fishing, to give it to Rollo to take more kids fishing and get them more involved.
Every group of anglers, whether it's an organized club or whether it's a yacht club, it doesn't matter. Any group of anglers, even if it's a group of friends who fish together, could do wonders to help us if they would just get involved and raise their hand and call us and say, how can we help? We have, Frank mentioned earlier, some long range trips. John Collins has been doing it for years. We have others. We have one gentleman in particular that has a charter each year, and he was on a Harold Davis trip that I was on a few years ago. And we always do a raffle on the Harold Davis long range trip. on the Royal Polaris, and we raised some money for Rollo, and he was on that trip. And after the trip was over, he pulled me aside and he said, I want to do the same thing on my charter. And I said, well, what would you like to do? He says, I'd like to do a raffle just like you do on the boat, but I don't know how to get all this stuff. And I said, when's your trip? And he said, it's in September. I said, how about this? How about we give you the product and you raffle it on the trip, and then you make the donation to us? Well, he couldn't believe that that was possible. So I personally handpicked and delivered the products to him. That has been going on now for 3 years. And that group of anglers last year raised $14,000 on one trip.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
And handed us the money for that. And I'm not suggesting anyone else could do that. I mean, that's like mind-boggling to
And
me.
do the numbers. $14,000 takes, a lot of kids. A lot of kids fishing. Yeah.
So, but it doesn't have to be of that magnitude. That's just like over the top. Anybody that can do this. It doesn't matter to me if you raise $1,000. I mean, that's more kids going fishing.
$500.
Anything. We'll help you help the kids.
I love it. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including more of these great texts and more with Captain Frank and Mike. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on Facebook and YouTube Live and that Let's Talk Hookup app. We got more right now.
This year, make reliable boating your resolution and back it with exhilarating deals with a new Yamaha outboard during Yamaha's New Year, New Reliability sales event. From now until March 31st, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha 450 to 30 horsepower outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection. Looking to hit the water with lower horsepower? There's a deal for you too. Purchase a new Yamaha 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboard and receive up to $200 in dealer credit toward the purchase of additional goods and services. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offer ends March 31st, 2025, subject to change. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models exclude 24-month Yamaha extended service added to a 36 or 60-month factory limited warranty. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for details. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
Hi, this is Captain Ray Lopez, owner-operator of the American Angler. I've spent more than half my life aboard the American Angler along with my partners Brian and Lori, developing a team that's as good as it gets. I've been fortunate to spend time on the ocean with so many fine people that I look forward to fishing with. We can't thank you enough for being part of the American Angler family, and if you haven't joined us, we love the opportunity to meet you. Text or call Lori at 619-223-5414 or check AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com.
Time to talk about great gear from Shimano, and I gotta say, I love the Corrado DC.
I bet you do.
My gosh! What if you're fishing fresh or saltwater bass? The Corado DC is unbelievable.
It really is. It's easy on the pocketbook, but the features are just unbelievable. So smooth and effortless casting.
Yes.
I love
Cast
that
a
reel.
mile. You put Power Pro like Power Pro Max Quattro or Quattro Power Pro. The version 2,
Slick version 2.
It casts a mile.
Yeah, it's great.
And minimize your backlashes. You can adjust it, fine tune it like no other.
How many thousands of casts did you make effortless and clean every time because of that DC Corado?
Just amazing. Yeah. And also, I put Motto on one reel, fishing the crankbait. I put it on the DC. Fantastic.
All day long.
It works great. So check it out, the Corado DC from Shimano. For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America and certainly number one with anglers. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining build Fort tough and never settling. But what really made Ford F-Series number one is you. So now is the time to take advantage of great deals and programs today. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers today and explore the F-Series and the full truck lineup. They'll be glad to hook you up.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. Need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning talking about this unbelievable custom rod raffle. Thanks to those great guys up at Batson. Again, purchase 5 grand raffle tickets at only $10 a piece, and you're going to get entered into this special drawing to win these beautiful rods. You know, Pete, you've been showing them off of the camera all morning long. They are just, they're works of art. They really are. They're obviously, this is a functional rod that you're going to get to go fishing with, those beautiful Batson Judge blanks. But I just think that's so cool that we're going to have, what was it, Mike? 8 lucky winners?
No, we're going to have six winners, but we have 8 rods.
Right.
So everybody's going to get to pick what they want. And the 2 remaining rods will be moved over to the Tuna Wars event, which will be coming up on June the 22nd at Dana Landing.
Love it.
Dana Landing. And that event is a live event.
That is going to be the captain's reception. It's a live event.
Who's coming this year?
We've got Bob Cook coming back out, and we got Dave Marciano and his wife Nancy coming out. We're going to have 2 boats this year instead of 3. We're dropping to 2 boats. They are both sold out. We are taking a waiting list for the guys that want to fish on that tournament. But the captain's
and the date is the date of the captain's reception.
The captain's reception is Sunday, June 22nd, and that is free to attend. And then the Tuna Wars fishing takes place starting Monday evening, the 23rd, comes back on the 25th for the weigh-in. And the 2 boats this year will be the Liberty and the Tomahawk.
Wow.
Awesome.
2 great
How
boats
fun.
for sure. That's going to be fun. And the winner gets crowned once again to be the champion for the
this I believe is Tuna War 11.
Yeah,
I think that, which is really phenomenal. I mean, this started because of Captain Paul Hebert and Mike Battistoni.
Right.
They got this thing rolling all those years ago, and it's continuing to this day. And the captain's reception gets more fun and more popular every year. It's a free event. You come down in the evening to Dana Landing. There's always fun times, great raffles, lots of great people, food, the whole thing.
It's super fun.
It's wonderful.
And I want to throw out, as Frank, as you know, a huge thank you to a guy that does a lot behind the scenes, and that's Steve Pinard from Dana Landing. That guy digs into his pocket and digs into his efforts. He's got enough going on, and he chooses not only with Rollo but also with CCA to give a lot, and especially with Rollo because he has the same passion for wanting to get kids fishing that we all in this room do have. Steve just is endless help on doing that, and that's one of the big helps he does is hosting that event.
I sometimes I'm so appreciative of Steve because throughout the year, we always come up with questions. We always come up with obstacles. We always come up with problems that need to be solved. And he's like the first guy I always contact. I feel guilty because I always call him first, but he always has a good ear and he always has a good suggestion. And he's just so helpful.
All right. Very good.
Hey,
you have a great text.
I did. Says, good morning, guys. What a great show. As usual, I got my Captain Rollo's tickets a little while back, and I very quickly got my Kershaw knife gift from friends of Rollo. It's now my everyday carry, and I love that knife from Kershaw. Really looking forward. I have 3 trips in May, and I'm bringing down 25 old reels to donate to Fisherman's Landing. Tight lines. Thanks for everything you do. That's from Tom in Carpinteria.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. That is exactly the kind of support that we rely on to make this program work.
Because that used tackle sale raises a lot of money, right?
Oh, it's very important. Very important. And during the few years, I think we had 2 years in a row there, we did not have a day at the docks. And so we were lucky enough to have John over at Seaforth Landing allow us to use his grassy area there outside the landing. And that worked out fine. But it was a special event that required additional promotion and advertising. There wasn't a natural crowd there like there is at Day at the Docks. And of course, there was additional costs with renting, fencing, and all the other stuff. So Day at the Docks has become the best spot for us to hold our used tackle sale. And we're going to do it again coming up here on April the 13th.
And don't forget, all that equipment that you donate,
you get a receipt, and it's a tax-deductible 501c3 donation.
It is. And if you drop tackle off at one of the stores that we mentioned, and you would like a receipt, just leave your name and phone number or email address, and we will send it to you once we pick that product up.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, John in Upland says, hey, my question is, Day at the Docks, is there going to be a box where you can drop off used reels and tackle? And can you do it at Day at the Docks?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every year people bring us stuff. Now, some of it is too late in the day for us to really maximize it.
Yeah.
So, but we have no problem storing it. Another great contribution on Howard Coolidge's part. He actually takes possession of this, and throughout the year he organizes prices and hangs on to all the product, and then transfers it down for our sale.
So bring it. If you're coming to Day at the Docks,
Oh yeah,
bring it.
Yep.
Yeah, bring it along. Rick, you have another good one?
Yeah, it's a little bit long, but I thought it was fun. Good morning, gentlemen. What a great show. I love what Fishing with Rollo's does for the kids. It literally is out there changing lives and getting kids into fishing, into the fishing world, which is just amazing. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for everything you do. And I can't wait to see you and participate at Day at the Docks. Also, sorry for making this long, but I ran into Captain Max of the Pacific Voyager the other day at Summit Gasoline, and he said there's bluefin out there and a whole bunch of them that just haven't been biting yet. Also, that the bait receiver is back to having sardines. I ran into Scotty, who was filling up his 23 Parker at Summit Gasoline again, and said that the yellowtail were biting in La Jolla. And that's all from Jay and OB. So,
all right, thanks, Jay, for that. Hey, Frank, you still with us there?
I'm there. I'm here, Pete.
All right. Sorry, we've had an issue with the phone there, but Max from I was so impressed with that young kid. 20. Is he really only 22 years old?
That's correct.
Yeah,
he's pretty amazing. You know, his dad started him fishing at 6, and he has never stopped. And he started saving for a boat when he was 8 years old.
That guy is going to be in this fishing community until he can't. There was just no doubt about it. I couldn't agree more. I was so impressed. I can't wait to go fishing with him. And I just wasn't all that familiar with his boat previous to the show.
Yeah,
but what a great rig, and
stateroom accommodations. Yeah,
he's going to do so good with that boat.
But when I heard he was 20, I mean, I knew I was young when I was looking at him. I saw him on YouTube or Facebook, or saw the picture on our Let's Talk Hookup app. How old are you? He's 22 years old.
But just what a killer. I mean, boat savvy, fish savvy, just awesome. He's was a really, really good young man.
Obviously, you recognize that, right, Frank?
Well, we got more people like that coming up in the industry. You know, the future of our industry and the operators is looking very promising. And it's thanks to a lot of different operators and how they mentor young people. Probably one of the leaders in that respect is Brian Piahara. But it's just wonderful to see so many young guys that have such a love for the industry. Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Hey, good one here from Dan in Oxnard. He says, I purchased $100 in tickets at the PCS show. Am I included in the custom rod drawing?
That offer was at PCS, and so I'm assuming that you probably have 2 entries into that. If you have questions about that, give Tim a call at that 951-264-7382 number and leave him a message. And when he gets done with these tickets, he'll give you a call and they'll figure it out. He'll have a ledger and he'll know exactly whether you're in there or not.
Yeah. You know, this is the time when people are booking trips. And I know, Frank, your office has been very busy booking trips. And I know Fisherman's Landing very busy, people getting ready. One trip that I'm blown away that still has a couple spots left is our Kingfisher charter trip to Sitka, Alaska, June 15th through 19th. I believe it's Father's Day. Going to go with Rock Cod Rick, and Dallas will be there too, and having a great trip. How many years have you been doing this trip?
I think this will be 25. I think this is my 25th.
26th.
25th or 26th. Yeah.
But do you ever get tired of it?
Never. It's the trip I look forward to the most. It's been very special to me. I grew up fishing there with Dad and you, and continuing on that tradition. Yeah. And it is just, in 26 years, it's never been anything short of amazing. It's so well run. The fishing is spectacular. the food, the accommodations, and just the beauty of being in Southeast Alaska. It's a complete package.
Yeah, and the best value in Alaska
No question.
by far.
No question.
There's nothing that even comes close to Kingfisher Charters.
Not for the level that you get between the
Yeah.
boats, the accommodation, the tackle, the food, the
everything.
fish processing, the
quality of the
transfers.
captains.
Like, it's all included. You know,
Yeah.
you were the one that clued me into that. There's a lot of places that will flash a lesser dollar ticket price, but by the time you're done getting nickel and dime, it ends up being more.
You got to pay fish. Oh, fish processing.
It's-
Yeah. No, and
transfer,
Kingfisher
boat.
does the number one best job of fish processing in Alaska.
Period.
It's
It's
that
crazy.
stuff is unbelievable. So yeah,
Come with
if
me,
you want to
man.
go with Ricky. Call Kingfisher Charters 800-727-6136, or just check kingfishercharters.com and book that trip June 15 through 19. Tell them you want on the Let's Talk Hookup trip. And hard to believe this late in the season you actually have a chance to go.
It's maybe one of the first times we've ever had a spot
Ever.
this late into
Yeah,
the year. So
yeah, for sure.
it will get full, but I just hope it's full of a Let's Talk Hookup friend, because I'd sure love to come fishing with you.
Yeah.
I had another great text. Says, hey guys, I teach in high school, and my questions are: your trips primarily focused on taking younger kids, or can an organization like myself that has 14 to 18-year-olds participate? Love every bit of this, Mike in San Juan Capistrano.
No, we love to have the teenage kids out. I mean, they do. We do many trips a year with that age range. So please, again, if you have any question at all, don't assume the answer is no. Assume the answer is yes, and get a hold of us. We'll work with you any way we can. We want to get these kids out on the water for the first time. We're not necessarily looking for people. We're not looking for kids that are already on the water every weekend with their dads, that kind of thing. We're really targeting people that have never been on the ocean, never had an opportunity to be at sea. That's really what our mission is to let first-time people get out on the water. And, keep that in mind as you're thinking this through. But helping us raise money and is the number one goal. And then beyond that, we'll spend every available dollar we have putting kids on boats. We have more demand for trips than we have funding available. And that's why we constantly are asking you guys to support us, because until we get to a point where we say, okay, we got plenty, we need your help.
Frank?
And to emphasize something on that, 3-4 years ago, we never turned down anybody or had to say, well, you're going to have to wait till we raise more funds. But we do need every angler's support. If everybody made a little bit of a donation, we wouldn't have to turn down anyone whatsoever. We would be able to just keep booking trips. But right now, it gets a little touchy sometimes. So we've got to have the funds, and that's why us begging, asking you to buy tickets, to come to different functions, to contribute in any way you can is so important to the Friends of Rollo, and us being able to take all the requests for kids to go fishing.
Hey, Frank, Mike and Matt in Apple Valley asked a question about taking kids on a longer trip, like a day and a half trip or something like that. Is that ever feasible, or would we ever consider doing something like that?
Well, you know what, Mike, Pete, when it comes to something like that, I guess it would have to be on a personal basis where, I don't know, if somebody really wants to do that, they need to maybe call my office and I'll call them back if I'm not in the office. I can see where something like that might work at certain times of the year, like in April, May, some of our best fishing of the year last year was in November and December. So it's possible, but right now, doing a group on a day and a half trip, we have not yet done it, but I'm not going to say no to anything, okay?
But the main idea, though, is to expose kids to the ocean, right? To expose kids to fishing. And it's so easy to do that on, like, the typical trip is like a half-day trip, right, Frank?
It is a half-day trip and then a full-day trip to the Coronado Islands. But a day and a half trip, let's face it, I mean, You know, a kid catches an 80-pound bluefin tuna. He isn't ever going to forget that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Mike mentioned earlier he's going to remember the seals and he's going to remember the bait tank. Let me tell you, he will remember the first fish he ever caught, and he's going to remember the bite that happened.
That's what I love about Captain. That's what I love about Captain Frank is like everybody can see the thing. The dollar amount is a lot higher. There'd be lesser kids going like, everybody knows that the answer should be no. And Frank's like, oh no, that's something I want to try to figure out, right? That you can just, because you're right. There's nothing like it. Nothing like big fish.
Nothing like that to getting that throwing that thing in gear and oh my,
you'll have that forever.
Yeah,
I love it. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out who's going fishing on board the Liberty. We got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app and Facebook and YouTube Live.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at royalstarsportfishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limit, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open parties scheduled, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Captain Jamie Tennis from Season Sport Fishing here. For the past few seasons, a dart-styled metal jig has come into play in a big way for tuna offshore or even rockfish down deep. AFCO's crossbreed jig has quickly become the go-to for many since it came onto the market. AFCO's crossbreed jig is good to go right out of the package with a 4X treble hook, heavy-duty split rings, West Coast colors, and sizes 60 gram to 120 gram. Pick one up today at your local tackle store or learn more on afco.com.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Quintin, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Okay, we're going to find out who's going on board the Liberty on a full day trip. Mike's going to do us the honor and flip the prize coin. See if we have a texter or caller winning today. Today we have a texter. Congratulations, Jay in Ocean Beach. You are going fishing on board the Liberty. Congratulations.
Captain Frank LoPreste, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you don't have cauliflower ear from being on the phone for 2 hours with us.
Enjoyable, Pete. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, and of course, appreciate all that you do to help, all that you do for this industry, and all that you do to help kids
go fishing. And Mike, how do we get in on that Rollo raffle right now?
All right. You're going to call Tim Baker at 951-264-7382. And you're going to tell him that you need to buy 5 grand raffle tickets. And he's going to sell you those. And then you're going to be entered into the drawing for these beautiful bats and rods. All the drawings will take place at Day at the Docks coming up on April the 13th. You can also send Tim an email, win@rollokids.org, and just leave him your name and phone number. Both those ways will get a return call from him, and it will get you into the drawings, and wish you luck.
Yeah, and all these beautiful rods, if you're looking at us on YouTube, Facebook Live, they're right here. They're really fantastic, and Day at the Docks is going to be a big event. But yeah, win@rollokids.org. And one more time, the number.
Be 951-264-7382. Our website is rollokids.org if you want more information.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening today. Thanks to Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And of course, thanks to George, our engineer there that keeps us on the air. And of course, Jeff at the Fan Studios. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Captain Matty Barlow from the Limitless out of Dana Landing. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.